Well, here's what's coming up on this Monday afternoon on Western Sports Roundup. Our thoughts with barrel racer Anita Ellis. Injured over the weekend, spent the weekend in the ICU. Her husband Brandon posting updates. We will share the latest on Anita's condition coming up in just a couple of minutes on Western Sports Roundup. National Finals steer roping, Mulvane, Kansas over the weekend. You can now call Cole Patterson a four-time world champion. He's won 3 in a row this year in dramatic fashion. Cole will join us coming up.
And horse racing over the weekend from Lone Star Park in Grand Prairie, Texas. We featured it for you right here on Gate to Wire. Who are the champions in some of the big races that shared over a $1.5 million payout? We will tell you coming up on today's show.
Holy Guacamole is running very strongly on the extreme outside. Maverick in the mix as well. Holy Guacamole wins the Texas Classic Futurity.
Well, welcome to Western Sports Roundup. As always, we're proud to remind you that the Cowboy Channel is the exclusive home of the PRCA, your destination for the very best in rodeo action.
And we've got big news for our fans. Western Sports Roundup is now being simulcast live on YouTube. That means you can watch the show in real time on both the Cowboy Channel and our YouTube live stream, giving you even more ways to stay connected with us and to Western Sports.
Well, howdy, everybody, and welcome into our Cowboy Channel studios here in Fort Worth, Texas. Glad you're riding along with us for this edition of Western Sports Roundup. I'm Ty McClary alongside Steve Kenyon. Big weekend in the world of professional rodeo this past weekend. In fact, we've crowned our first world champion for the 2025 season.
It is time for our Kubota top story because Kubota, together we do more. Cole Patterson, 4 times now a world champion, and he just pulled off a three-peat. Back-to-back-to-back, the last 3 years world titles. Cole ties his father, Rocky Patterson, who also has won 4 world championships. But in Mulvane, Kansas this weekend at the National Finals steer roping, it was not easy. This might have been the biggest struggle Cole Patterson has had of the 4 gold buckles he's won to win that world title.
Yeah, he came in #1 in the world standings with the Resistol Rookie of the Year for this 2025 season, Riley O'Rourke, chasing him. And a few other guys as well, including a world champion in Scott Snedeker, chasing him as well. But when the dust all settled, when it was over with, after 31,001 at the National Finals of steer roping, Cole Patterson came out with his 4th gold buckle, about $9,000 ahead of Riley O'Rourke, that Resistol Rookie of the Year. It was a great showing by Cole Patterson to win his 4th world title.
Joining us, the now 4-time and newly crowned and 3-time reigning world champion in the single steer roping. Did all that make sense? Cole Patterson joins us after what was, Cole, I think it's fair to say, the most dramatic win of your career, and maybe the most dramatic win a lot of folks can remember in the steer roping in a while. You had to feel something at the conclusion of all this. You told ProRodeo.com, this feeling is why I compete. Elaborate on that, and congratulations. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, absolutely. It's, you got to figure out why you're out there in the practice pen when it's 100 degrees outside or whenever it's 35 degrees outside and you're wanting to go to the house and you're wanting to take a break and you're wanting to play it easy. But those moments right there are worth way more than the buckles, way more than the money. That feeling of coming in clutch and executing when you have to is the reason that you have to stay in the practice pen when you want to quit.
Cole, I want you to take us back to day #1 there. You guys roped 5 steers the first day and the final 5 the second day at the National Finals of steer roping. Not really the way you would want day #1 to kick off. I mean, you started off with a no time in round 1. No one wants that, but kind of take us through that first day and your thoughts going through it.
Yeah, I didn't love my draw in the first couple of rounds, but I mean, at the end of the day, I have to go out there and do a better job executing, stopping the clock, and had a couple bobbles there the first night. I ran over the barrier on the best steer I ran the first night in the 3rd round, and just when you get off to a bad start, it feels like you're just speed jamming after that, and you're trying to press, and in this event, that doesn't work. You just have to let it flow, and I wasn't doing that the first night, and really wasn't doing it that well the second night until around 9 and 10.
Well, and the interesting thing about that to me, Cole, I talked to Scott Grover and Corey Keith, who are the announcers this morning, and they reminded me that somewhere around round 7 or 8, Riley O'Rourke passed you and moved into the #1 spot in the world standings, and then you come back, finish 3rd in round 9, and then make the fastest run you've ever made in your 7 trips to the National Finals steer roping in round 10, an 8-5 to win the year-end title on the very last steer. Wow. That was, Ty talked about day 1. Really, the 9th and 10th go-rounds on day 2 are where you ended up winning the title.
Yeah, I knew going into the second night, I had a steer up on Riley. He got 2 no times the first night. And so that was in the back of my mind. If I could just stay in the average on the steers I had drawn, that big check at the end would help me get over the hurdle. But then my 7th round steer kicked loose, and I think Riley won 1st or 2nd in the 7th round and got ahead of me in the world standings. And as big as that 10th round steer was, the 9th round steer may have been just as important because it got me $500 back ahead of him to let me go 2nd, which after I went behind him, I mean, there wasn't any second guessing anything. It was just let it all hang out.
Cole, as a competitor, how do you not let some of that you just shared with us get too much in your head? Because at the end of the day, in round 10, the National Finals of Steer Roping, to win a 4th world title for you, you still got to go tie that steer down no matter what. No matter what Riley's done, no matter what anybody else has done, what Jess has done to win the average, any of that kind of stuff, you still at the end of the day got to go make the best run possible and not worry about the numbers, not worry about who's ahead and who's behind. How do you not let that get too much into your head going into that final steer?
Yeah, it's hard in the last round because there's so many scenarios playing out. And, as much as it would be probably better to not know anything, you also, you have to know, hey, do I need to just tie him down to win it? Do I need to go full speed? So as a competitor, I have to know at the end of the day what I have to do. And my dad was actually doing most of the number crunching for me and let me know where I needed to sit. Chet Herron, I practiced with him all the time, and he was back there, and he said, I think you got to win 4th or better. He was looking at the scoreboard. He said 10-3 is winning 4th, so we don't have to beat the 9-1. We just need it 10-2 or faster. At the end of the day, on that steer I ran in the 10th round, there's really not a heck of a whole lot of difference in 8-5 and 10-2. I mean, you have to get a good start or else you're not going to be 10-2. And I got a great start. Horse worked amazing, and everything just came together right at the right time.
Scott Grover talked to me this morning about the mentality of a champion. And he, in his exact words, we saw it as well as you'll ever see it in the rodeo arena with Cole Patterson this weekend. Did your response to that idea, the mentality of a champion? You've been to the NFR 7 times. You've won 4 world titles. I guess you got it.
I guess so. I'm lucky to have some great people behind me, support me. The Sheets family has been real generous and let me take that brown horse up there to the finals the past couple of years. And that's the thing. He was spot on all 10 rounds. And in our event, when you're backed into a corner and you have to lay down the best run of the weekend, of all the steer horses in the world, that's the one I would pick to do it on. And I'm just so thankful for all the people that have helped me along the way.
One of those that has helped you, you mentioned earlier in this interview, your dad was back there helping you guys watch the numbers, watch the steers, help everything. That is, by the way, your dad, a 4-time world champion in this event, Rocky Patterson. So I got to know this. At the end of the night after round 2, when you won that 4th world title, was there any kind of elbowing dad like, hey, you won 4 world titles, I can do it too?
No, I didn't say that yet. But whenever he starts criticizing me this year, I'll say, hey, we're on the level playing field now. No more looking down on me about having less saddles or buckles than you. We're even now. But no, at the end of the day, anything he tries to tell me, he's been around a long time and he's seen everything there is to see in this business. So if he tries to help me with something, I'm going to try my best to listen.
Single best quote in the ProRodeo.com article about the National Finals steer roping was Cole Patterson saying, whatever it takes to sell tickets. You might have sold some tickets for next year, Cole. Congratulations on winning your 4th world title, 3 in a row. That puts you in the company of Guy Allen and Trevor Brazil. That's a pretty high-rent neighborhood. Cole Patterson, congratulations on winning that world title.
Thank you.
So we take you from a world championship story to a story that's definitely got some sad themes to it, and that is the fact that newly qualified barrel racer to the National Finals Rodeo, Anita Ellis. Steve, it's never a good time to come up with an injury, but Anita Ellis has suffered one after a horse accident over this past weekend.
Yeah, she hit her head on the concrete, and her husband, Brandon, has been keeping us up to date with social media posts. Said I wanted to give a full update since so many people have been reaching out. Yesterday, Anita had a serious fall, hit her head when she landed on the concrete. She was taken to the hospital, is currently in the ICU. Her first scan showed a small brain bleed, but her vitals are good. You're taking a look at Anita Ellis during the course of this summer. Here's what Brandon had to say. She's still in the thick of it. She's fighting, she's cussing, and she's showing flashes of the fire that everybody loves her for. Thanks for all the prayers and support. It actually kind of made a lot of us laugh. He posted, she's coming back one obscenity at a time. And that, for folks who know Anita, Brandon says that's probably a pretty good sign.
Yeah, the Extreme Barrel Race hosting a raffle to support Anita Ellis. You can go to Extreme Barrel Race on Facebook for more information. Lots of that is going to go to Anita Ellis and her family trying to recover from this. And here we are, Steve, a couple weeks from the National Finals Rodeo, and she's qualified for her first ever NFR.
Yeah, number 8. Remember, she dominated Calgary, won all 3 rounds in her set. Anita Ellis has come back from injuries before. She, as a teenager, was involved in a car accident, serious back injury. More than 20 years later, after she got married, started her family, she had a possibly career-ending back injury that caused her to have to go through some very serious medical procedures. So she is not unfamiliar with coming back from issues. We'll try to keep you up to date, but our thoughts, our prayers, and our very best wishes go to Anita Ellis, who has been a real bright spot this year, I think, in the rodeo season. Let's take a time out. When we come back, Great Lakes Circuit Finals Rodeo over the weekend. Nick Pelky will join us. He had a great showing in the bareback riding. We'll tell you about it coming up.
Abilene, Texas was the home of the gold buckle Futurity's World Finals this past week. Who were some of the champions on the team roping side of things? We'll tell you about a couple of them coming up later on in the show.
Western Sports Roundup brought to you by Resistol, the official hat of cowboys everywhere. We live it every day. Western Sports Roundup is brought to you by Rock and Roll Denim. Live boldly. Live in rock and roll denim.
Coming up later on this evening on the Cowboy Channel, getting you ready for the National Finals Rodeo. NFR title fights continue. Tonight, it's all about the breakaway rope. And as the National Finals breakaway rope will kick off the big week there at the National Finals. You won't want to miss it tonight live right here on the Cowboy Channel at 7 Eastern Time.
So let's welcome you back to the Cowboy Channel studios here in Fort Worth, Texas, and talk about the Great Lakes Circuit Finals Rodeo. Circuit Finals season continues. 2 big events over the weekend. You're looking at some of the sights and sounds of Louisville, Kentucky, which is the home of the Great Lakes Circuit Finals. Of course, geographically, the Great Lakes is as big a circuit as we have in professional rodeo. Their finals are in Louisville, Kentucky, and their northern border is Canada, north of Minnesota and Wisconsin. Let's talk about the top performers. Bareback riding, the aggregate winner, slow start, big finish. Nick Pelky, 76 in round 1, but he still went on and won the average.
Pretty familiar territory for this guy, because if you talk about it a year ago in 2024, he did the exact same thing. Won the average there at the Great Lakes Circuit Finals, also known, of course, as the North American Championship Rodeo. Nick definitely doing what he could do there in the bareback riding. As we go to the steer wrestling, it was Garrett Stevens who was your champion. Total on 3 steers, 12-2. And let me tell you, Steve, it was close for second and third. There was 12-4, tied for second and third, and Garrett came into that final round. He was tied for the lead, so he had to make a big run to get that average win.
Yeah, that's what he did. He placed in 2 out of 3 go-rounds and won about $8,000. Mitchell Barney and Butch Level, they came into the circuit finals 12th and 11th in the Great Lakes Circuit standings and moved up $9,503. They won the first go-around at the Great Lakes Circuit Finals Rodeo and ended up placing in all 3 on their way to winning the aggregate.
They came into the third and final round in the number 2 position for the average. Obviously needed a big run to move up in the standings, and that's exactly what they did, getting the average championship as we go to the Saddle Bronc riding.
Yeah, Blake Stuke. I watched this man at the College National Finals Rodeo, finishes one of the top 4 at the CNFR. Well, now here he is winning the average at at the Great Lakes Circuit Finals and doing so with a pretty big paycheck, $9,503, 243.5 on 3.
He won round number 2, placed in the other 2 rounds, which is exactly what was needed for him to get the average championship there at the Great Lakes Circuit Finals. As we talk the ladies event, the first of 2 for the ladies, breakaway roping, Claire Berkelot, she won round number 1, she was 2.6, she was second in 2 rounds. She did well here a year ago, but definitely got it figured out for this year to be the average champ.
Yeah, absolutely. $8,772 for Claire at the Great Lakes Circuit Finals Rodeo. So let's keep it at the roping box as you take one more look at Claire Berkelot winning the breakaway roping. Here's the tie-down roping. Colton Roush, sometimes this kid gets called Cowboy. He's from Harrigan, Illinois. He progressed in the right direction during the course of the rodeo. Ty, he was third in round 1. He was second round 2. He ended up first in round 3 and won the average.
That's the way you're supposed to do it, Steve. Just get better and better as you go. He was great here a year ago. In fact, he was third in the average a year ago. This year, totally different scenario. Won the average by a mile for Colton to get that championship there.
Austin Toby from Minnesota, the reigning champion of the Great Lakes Circuit. Her 5th trip to the Great Lakes Circuit Finals Rodeo, $10,964, winning the barrel race. She was third in round 1, first in round 2, first in round 3. Wins the aggregate, $10,964.
And I'll tell you, Steve, when they came into this third and final night right here, Austin Toby was only 1/10 of a second ahead in that average. So it was a tight race for the ladies in the barrel racing as we take you to the bull riding. It's Ethan Skoquist, 81 points on Dakota Rodeo's Mystery. That's the one you're looking at right now from round number 2. He only rode 2 of 3 bulls. In fact, he was the only guy to ride 2 of 3 bulls. Obviously, that was good enough for a man that was top 30 in the world standings for the 2025 season to get the average championship.
Yeah, he finished the year 26th the year ago, 27 years old at Elk River, Minnesota. There you see the totals. Skoquist wins $7,500, and Colton Roush and Austin Toby, they both win almost $11,000.
Well, that's a look at Nick Pelky winning a go-round at the Great Lakes Circuit Finals there in Louisville, Kentucky over the weekend, the North American Championship Rodeo. So we thought we'd just go ahead and bring him on the show and talk all about his big win this weekend. And, of course, it's a familiar spot for him. Nick Pelky joins us on the show. Nick, I want to start this off by asking this. Really, you came off an injury to start this rodeo this weekend. So how confident were you going into round number 1? That injury happened back a month or so ago. How are you feeling going into round 1?
Yeah, I strained my groin really bad down in San Bernardino at the end of the year, trying to make the final push to the NFR. And I took 6 weeks off. I didn't get on anything. I just got back in the gym and started riding the bucking machine, and finally went down to circuit finals. And the first ride, I was kind of nervous here, and just an old sweetheart that we've had in the circuit, and I kind of had heck with her. And then after that, I got on a roll and was having fun the rest of the weekend.
When you got done with this first ride, Nick, it was 76 points. You were just out of the money in the round. But did you at least kind of take a deep breath and say, okay, I remember how to do this now? Because you came back in round number 2 and won the round with an 85.
Yeah, I had to dig deep, figure out, all of us bareback riders, it's physically and mentally, straining, and I just had to get back in the groove of things, and came back the second night and felt like my normal self again.
Nick, what is it about you and the Great Lakes Circuit Finals? Because you were the champion at this event 1 year ago, and of course that led on to you to go and win the NFR Open this past summer up in Colorado Springs. So, I mean, you obviously have had a taste of this winner's circle before, but what do you feel like it is about the Circuit Finals that seems to treat you so well?
I don't know. I think getting with all my buddies for the whole weekend, all the guys that I've either went to college with or been around my whole life, veterans of the game. It really, the stock contractors, they're all my pals, and just being around them and getting on good horses and having fun.
Let me follow up on what Ty just asked, because not only are you hanging out with your buddies, at the age of 25, you're starting to get to be one of the veterans of the Great Lakes Circuit, but through the years, you've gotten to hang out with guys like Tanner Ross and Tim O'Connell, fellows who have helped you and I think been your mentors in this business for a while, right? The circuit system's offered you that opportunity.
Yeah, for sure. Tim and Tanner and even Jess, they were all there when I first started circuit rodeoing, and they were the wolves, and they still kind of are wolves. And I guess I sat down and thought about it. This is my 6th circuit finals, and that's crazy to think that, I'm 25 and it's my 6th circuit finals. But yeah, it's been a blessing. Great Lakes Circuit has been awesome to me, and I don't think I'll ever change.
Well, Nick, since we're right in the middle of the circuit final season, obviously coming off another win for you there at the Great Lakes Circuit, but I want you to tell the fans at home that are watching and joining us how important this circuit system is. The circuit system was set up for the cowboys and cowgirls that maybe couldn't rodeo all year long all over the country, but it also now is set up for, say, someone like yourself that not only can take advantage of winning the circuit finals average or a year-end title, and then going on to the NFR Open like you did this past summer. My goodness, that can help you guys tremendously on a battle of trying to get to the National Finals Rodeo.
Yeah, it's huge, especially with the circuit finals money counting for the new year right away. It helps you get a good start in the world standings as far as getting into rodeos, like the world's toughest, and some of them all go off of world standings now in Calgary, and then you get to the NFR Open in the middle of July, and you might need a big jump, and it dang sure helped me this year. I went up to Calgary and didn't have very good Calgary, and then came back to the NFR Open, and I think I won like 16,000 in 4 bucking horses, or 3, yeah. And that was huge.
Sorry, Nick, I interrupted you. We've talked about rodeos that were highlight rodeos for you last year. I asked you before we started this interview, what's on your schedule? Billings, Montana, and the Chase Hawks right after Christmas, Gillette, Wyoming, and the New Year's Eve Buck and Ball. Come January, there's a little rodeo in Fort Worth, Texas you won a year ago. How important would it be to defend that title or have another good trip to Fort Worth, especially where you haven't been able to go to a lot of events in October and November after the new year started?
Yeah, it'd be huge to get back down to Fort Worth and get them again down there. That rodeo is probably my favorite rodeo right now. And something about Fort Worth, all the guys are feeling good. Young guys that just come off the NFR, everybody's rocking and rolling, and they do a dang good job of bringing, the best bucking horses in the world from all over down to that deal, and makes it a blast. And I'd sure love to win it again.
Nick, I got to ask you this before we let you go, and this is not to dwell on anything that you've done over the last couple of years, because you've definitely been a great bareback rider the last few years, but you've missed the NFR the last few years. You've been right inside the top 20 in the world standings. In fact, I remember talking to you earlier this season where you were way up in the top 15, like, man, this is looking good for the year. But again, for 2025, you finished barely outside the top 15. So my question to you is, going into this 2026 season, what is it going to take, in your opinion, to get inside that top 15 and stay there and get out to Las Vegas to the national finals?
Yeah, I think consistency. I've been saying it the last couple of years, but consistency. They do the breakdowns, all the guys that make the top 15 in the world, and all those guys are, average score 82, 83 or more. And that's huge going, especially when we're going to, 100 rodeos a year, just trying to be as consistent as you can. And I think that's been my biggest fault probably is, I'm either really hot and I'm riding great, or I'm struggling. And that's, you gotta figure where you can be little leveler playing field. It's good to be hot, but when things aren't going good, just try to make the most of what you're getting on.
Bareback rider Nick Pelky from Wisconsin, the newly crowned and now repeat champion of the Great Lakes Circuit Finals Rodeo, 19th in the PRCA's world standings at the conclusion of the 2025 season. Nick, we wish you nothing but the best as you get ready for 2026. Thank you for your time and congratulations.
Thank you, guys.
Stay with us here on Western Sports Roundup. Speaking of the circuit system in the world of professional rodeo, we've had a couple big moments already in these circuit finals over the last couple of weeks or a month or so. We will relive some of those big moments already. Michael Snow will join us on the other side of this timeout.
Western Sports Roundup brought to you by Valley Vet.
Do it, Bradley! Come on, Hayden Welsh. And we light it up with an 84.5-point ride. Let's go. Oh, look. Yes, sir.
Well, for the last handful of weeks here on the Cowboy Channel, it has been all about the circuit final season in the world of professional rodeo. And joining us now on Western Sports Roundup to kind of relive some of the big moments that we've seen so far, Michael Snow joins us. Michael, first off, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us. But let's kick it off. I want to go back a few weeks ago to the Mountain State Circuit Finals. Hayden Welsh pretty much dominated the bull riding there in Loveland, Colorado.
Yeah, that was kind of the theme of the last couple months of the regular season of 2025 and the start of this 2026 season. He starts with the PRCA Permit Finals, winning that. Then he goes to the Mountain State, and you can kind of see what he did right here. 82, 79.5, 84.5 points. This season in 2026, he's 6 of 6 already this year, and he's averaging 83.5 points per ride. Now, maybe those numbers surprise you a little bit, but they shouldn't. In his last 15 rides of 2025, guys, listen to this. He was 12 of 15 and averaged 85.81 points. Now, my first introduction to him was really the Pendleton Extreme Bulls. That's the first time I saw him in person. And I knew, he obviously comes from a great bull riding or a great rodeo family, but boy, when you see it in person, he's got whatever it is. I'm not really sure, but he's a superstar in the making. And again, I don't know what it is, but Steve, Ty, he has it.
Well, right now, it includes being in the number 2 spot in the early season Rookie of the Year race. Ethan Winkler, who's been a star in the PBR, is number 1. Hayden sitting number 2. And as you mentioned, Michael, he's ridden everything he's gotten on in the month of October so far. I think the theme for all of these guys is, boy, I wish we could just start the new season, start the NFR right now, including Bradley Miller, the Texas Circuit Finals Rodeo, 4 performance circuit finals. He either tied or won first in 3 of those 4, and he won the average. He's already won over $20,000 in the 2026 campaign.
Yeah, I mean, you look at what he's done, and again, it obviously starts here at the Texas Circuit Finals, and, you go 4 for 4, you win the majority of those rounds. I believe he won 3 of those rounds. That's going to get you off started right, but he continued that as well. You're right, $20,000 already. And I know this is looking way ahead. This is somebody who's going to be at the NFR inside the top 5, inside the top 3 for the majority of the NFR as well, like he was during the regular season. But guys, if he goes out and let's just say wins one of the big Texas rodeos, he's already got over $50,000 to $60,000 of his 2026 earnings. So you don't want to look ahead, but a lot of guys right now, they're kind of taking it easy, resting up for the NFR. Bradley Miller with $20,000 already is continuing what was a great regular season, and a regular season in which he was number 4 in average points per ride at 84.16. There was concerns with the injury, but he's clearly fully healthy and clearly riding really strong right now, and that is dangerous for everybody else in the bareback riding during the NFR.
Yeah, that's a guy that not only we want to watch him at the National Finals Rodeo, coming off the rodeo that he had there a year ago. And yeah, the Texas Circuit Finals obviously just catapulted him into this 2026 season. I kind of want Steve Kenyon to introduce this next guy because the Circuit Finals out in Redmond, Oregon, the Columbia River Circuit. Steve, that's your home. You know all about it. But Cade Bruno was huge out there, wasn't he, Steve? Yeah,
he really was. He won all 3 go-rounds, the highest marked ride of the rodeo on Saturday night, with an 86.5 point score, dominated $11,061. Michael, Cade Bruno to me is a guy who is dangerous when he gets on a hot streak.
Yeah, and we're kind of waiting to see it come to fruition at the NFR. Last year was really disappointing for him, only placed in a couple of rounds. And, you could ask me, you could ask you guys. I mean, going into the NFR, we would have all been shocked by how he performed that NFR. And, the year before he had a pretty decent one, earned about $80,000, but when Cade is hot, when he's riding well, he can ride as good as anybody in the world. He can beat anybody in the world on any given night. So after winning just $30,000 a year ago at the NFR, the way he's riding right now, I fully expect him to make a jump in the standings, continue to jump inside that top 5 and compete for a gold buckle, because we didn't talk about him a ton during the regular season. Guys, he's got $215,000 earned already this year, and his 2026 obviously off to a great start with those $11,000 earned.
Yeah, and here's the thing about Cade that I want to throw out, too, for folks that are watching. Remember, he's already been to the NFR Open. Because of this win, he'll be going back in 2026. Remember, he's already been a champion at the NFR Open in Colorado Springs. Steve, I know you remember that as well.
Well, yeah, and here's the thing about Cade. You will not find a better example of the circuit system launching a guy to national prominence than you will with Cade Bruno. The first time most of us really kind of became aware of him, He won the average at Columbia River Circuit Finals back in the COVID year when we were outside in Hermiston, Oregon. And ever since then, he's been on a roll. So Cade's a guy who really, I think, has taken advantage of the opportunities the circuit system has posed and taken advantage of those opportunities to push himself onto the national stage where now we all know who he is.
Yeah, and that's the big thing, too. And I'm glad you guys brought up the NFR Open because we look at it as, oh, this is a great way to start your season off and get the season rolling. But in all reality, this is a great way to start your season and get a big rodeo later in the season with that NFR Open, with everything else going on. So, yes, it's nice to get the $10,000 right now, but they've got all of these guys have an opportunity later in the season to earn $15,000, $20,000. And obviously that can go in towards the playoffs. That goes towards then the Governor's Cup. So starting off your season like this, the money is nice, but the qualification to the NFR Open, that might be more important than these $10,000 or so dollars these guys have earned.
That is why these circuit finals are so huge, and you bring up a great point there, Michael Snow. Okay, let's go to the Wilderness Circuit, and maybe a question was answered that had a lot of rodeo fans wondering about Stetson Wright. Remember, he got hurt in August, kind of ended the season hurt. We were all wondering, is he going to be ready for the National Finals Rodeo? I think it's safe to say, Michael Snow, what he did at the Wilderness Circuit Finals proved that Stetson's back.
Yeah, I mean, round one, you kind of just laugh at. You know, he's down, he's out, he's hurt. It's a rib injury, it's a core injury. You're thinking, how is he going to look when he comes back? And all he does is go 90 points in his first ride back to erase any doubt that there may have been. Now, this was, you know, it was a serious injury for any other sport, but Stetson has recovered from worse. Obviously, being out for a full season, he was given 6 weeks, kind of saying, hey, let's really take this one slow. I know he wanted to get back for the Governor's Cup. That obviously didn't happen. And that's probably a good thing long term. Yes, you want to go out, you want to win $40,000 in Sioux Falls, but man, to come back and be 90 in that opening round, I mean, all you can really do is laugh and just say, well, I guess he's back and I guess he's fine, because he rode over 60% of his bulls and he looked just like that guy in those runs in his circuit finals as well.
Yeah, you know, he rode his first saddle Bronc horse, placed in that go-round. That was the only go-round he placed in the Bronc riding. Won 2 out of 3 go-rounds in the bull riding, rode 2 out of 3 bulls. He was right on that riding percentage, at least for that short weekend. And don't discount the impact of his father. If you talk to Stetson about this, and we've had a chance to visit with him about it, his dad told him, you're going to wait until you're darn sure ready. And he did. And apparently he was darn sure ready.
Yeah, I think that's maturity too. I mean, being around it and having obviously the right family is a legendary name as well. When you can bounce off kind of what you're going through to guys who have been through very similar scenarios, that's huge for these kind of athletes, to where, yes, you want to hurry back, you want to get back right away, but taking this extra time off, did it cost him $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 in Sioux Falls? Potentially. But what it did do, it got him fully healthy, and it just earned him another $10,000 at the circuit finals. And his health being what it is now, it could earn him a gold buckle as well, taking those extra weeks. So yes, there's the immediate disappointment, but the long-term payoff is what Stetson, and obviously his father, was really kind of telling him, this is what you got to be thinking of. And he's as dangerous as he ever has been.
I agree with that completely. Michael Snow, it's been kind of fun to relive some of the big moments of the circuit finals that we've already seen this season in the world of professional rodeo. Thanks for helping us do that. By the way, Zero In, don't forget, folks, every Tuesday, of course, right here on the Cowboy Channel, and going to be in Las Vegas every day during the National Finals Rodeo, so don't miss any part of Zero In. Michael Snow, thanks for joining us, man.
Yep, appreciate it, guys. We'll talk later.
Coming up on Western Sports Roundup, stalk me if you've heard this one before. Gold Buckle Futurities, Abilene, Texas. Trevor Brazil won a whole lot of money. We'll tell you about it and share some of the highlights with you from the weekend in Abilene, coming up on Western Sports Roundup. Mondays on the Cowboy Channel, the American Hat Company likes to celebrate positive times. Well, the Western Horseman is making some news, from icons and storytellers to trainers and photographers, honoring the people that keep the Western way of life alive. That is the Cowboy Channel's Katie Lucas and Ty McClary This year, she is receiving a prestigious honor.
Very well deserved for the 2025 Western Horseman Western Media Personality of the Year for the very hardworking Katie Lucas. Folks, most of you know at home, not only is she a wife, but she is a mom, and she takes this job here at the Cowboy Channel very, very seriously. And obviously, some folks all across the country have taken notice of that. A huge congratulations to our colleague and our friend, Katie Lucas, on this wonderful award.
I just went back and reread some biographical information on Katie. When she was in high school, she'd run around with a tape recorder and write rodeo stories based on the interviews that she did back then when she was in high school. Of course, went on to become Miss Rodeo Canada. Now, of course, one of our treasured colleagues here at the Cowboy Channel. Congratulations, Katie. This means an awful lot to all of us that you get this prestigious honor.
And now we take you to Abilene, Texas. That was the home last week of the Gold Buckle Futurities World Finals. We bring you a lot of updates throughout the year of these Gold Buckle Futurities and what has taken place. And that guy right there, the multi-time world champion, Trevor Brazil. Of course, he walked out of there with a pile of money on a horse. The 6-year-old and under heading, that's what we're focusing on right now at the Gold Buckle Futurity. R.R. Buckles Clubhouse. That's that pretty Palomino right there that he's riding. Won all 3 rounds on the heading side. Trevor, by the way, was also the high money earning rider of the week. There's Trevor and R.R. Buckles winning all 3 rounds. But look how close it was. Even with him winning all 3 rounds, look how close Billy Jack Sabins and one-time pick were right behind him in the number 2 position.
Yeah, and how great is that group of team ropers you see on that list as Trevor Brazil, 918.77. And Katie Lucas, we just talked about her, with a chance to catch up with the 27-time world champion.
Coming to the end of this horse's aged career, how much pressure do you feel at this moment to really finish strong on a horse like this?
Well, a lot. You know, for the owners, Brian Beaver, that trusted us, you know, to keep this horse in the barn, and for this horse, just because he's been so nice the whole time we've had him. And I've made some mistakes along the way on this horse, and he forgets about it every week. He's ready to win. He's a solid individual.
Power is certainly one thing this horse has a lot of. How does he use it to his advantage out there?
Well, everything about this horse is controlled, and I think that's what's great about this whole futurity industry. He's going to leave right here and go to, you know, amateur jackpots in Arizona right from here, and that if we do our job, that's what they're supposed to be able to do. And the Team Roping has a great infrastructure, and now we have a feeder system that I think can keep them busy for a while with this futurity system.
These guys were running at just darn near close to $750,000 in added money for the week at the World Finals. You're looking at another world champion of the PRCA. That is Jeremy Bueller on the heeling side of the 6-year-old heeling. That's a mare called SLR Swinging Hickory. She is maybe the winningest mare in the futurity industry. That is for sure. You're taking a look at Jeremy. He had a couple other horses in that finals as well. We watched this mare win the $100,000 Old West Futurity out in Utah earlier this summer, and this was kind of the end of her age career in the futurity season as well. Look at there, 908 is the total on 3 for him.
Yeah, Jeremy's got 3 horses in the top 5. 2 of them come out of a stallion that is named Hickory Holly Time. That horse's offspring for Dean Tufton, over $840,000 in earnings. Katie Lucas talking to her fellow Canadian, Jeremy Bueller.
How amazing has it been to bring this amazing equine athlete along?
No, it's been real special to me, this one. This is one of the ones that from the start was one we weren't sure about. There were a lot of, you know, long sweaty days where you weren't sure if you were going in the right direction or the wrong direction, that I'm sure everybody can relate to. And it makes it pretty sweet whenever they, you know, show up in town and you get them shown.
What was that something special that just kept you pushing on?
Just her grit. You know, that's been the big thing, which can be, you know, it can be something that you love some days and you hate other days, but she's always been really tough, and she's always showed up, and she's always been better in town than at home, and that's something that's pretty special to me.
It's fun to get to talk about these horses and these Futurity careers. We've been watching some of these for the last couple of years there at the Gold Buckle Futurities, whether it was Trevor's horse or Jeremy's mare there that he was riding. So it's fun to get to watch those horses evolve now into their 6-year-old year and the amount of money that these guys are winning at these Futurities. That is for sure. Stay with us here on Western Sports Roundup. When we come back, horse racing weekend this past weekend from Lone Star Park. It was all about the Texas Classic. I'll tell you about those champions when we return. Thanks for joining us for Western Sports Roundup. As always, we're proud to remind you that the Cowboy Channel is the exclusive home of the PRCA, your destination for the very best in rodeo action.
And we've got some big news for you. Western Sports Roundup will now be simulcast live on YouTube. That means you can watch the show in real time on both the Cowboy Channel and our YouTube live stream, giving you even more ways to stay connected with us and to Western Sports. Well, welcome back as we take a look to the beautiful setting in Grand Prairie, Texas at Lone Star Park, where the Gate to Wire series for 2025 and quarter horse racing in this part of the world came to an end on Saturday night. We had a chance alongside my colleague Ty McClary and Dave Appleton and Tom Dawson to share the final weekend of racing, and man, oh man, there was a lot of money on the line.
Oh, it was a big one. Over $1.5 million was the total payout for the race card that day, and we've got a couple to share with you, including the Derby, which is for the 3-year-olds. Here's Jim Byers with the race call.
All in line. And they're off. KJ Born to Be Wild broke outward. But he did break relatively well. Hovland is trying to stay with him as those two lock up early. And then comes Curl's Magic Wagon right on the inside. Jess Dulce powering on with Holy Pete. But it's KJ Born to Be Wild. Far outside, very tight.
We talked in the barn the other day how important this race was to you to win. You win the Dash for Cash, you come back and win the Texas Classic. You did the same thing last year with Relentless Eagle, but this was huge for more than just the race. It was for the life after and what this horse has.
Exactly. You know, here he's a stallion, you know, so we've got something more exciting. Last year was phenomenal, you know, no regrets at all, but we have a stud that looks like a run pretty phenomenal, so we're really, really blessed, very proud.
When you look at the race, I mean, the outside seems to have been doing a little bit better on the racetrack. He had to absolutely, I mean, it looked like KJ Wild Thing on the outside had it won, but those last 50 yards, he just motored down the racetrack.
Well, he never quit, and that last 50 yards, I thought I couldn't tell if he won or not, but he was motoring down there. And you're right, it looked to me, you know, the track's been very even, but it looked a little soft to me. I was a little concerned about the one hole, but he did great.
The Grade 1 race of the Derby there at the Texas Classic. Notice that horse down on the inside. That is just Dulce. And you heard Dave Appleton talk about it. It was pretty favorable out on the outside of the track for most of the night, but Just Dulce said, no, I can do it down here on the inside, and he practically led the race from gate to wire. Now, that was for the Derby. As we take you to the Futurity, it's for 2-year-olds, over a $900,000 purse for these 2-year-olds. It was a Grade 1 race. Holy guacamole, your champion. Let's hear Jim Byers talk about it.
And they're off. And GFG's Sinful stumbled and bumped arrival at the start. RF Runaway Cowboy is heading off toward the lead. Winston on the inside. Holy Guacamole is running very strongly on the extreme outside. Maverick in the mix as well. Holy Guacamole wins the Texas Classic Futurity.
Jed Vane, this racing game can be tough 1 minute and glorious the next.
Yes, sir. City
of Blood, the Derby, you have to scratch, ruins your night, you come back, holy guacamole, here we are in the winner's circle, win the Futurity. You gotta be, it can be tough on your emotions, but it's gotta be very gratifying when it comes through like it did now.
Definitely gratifying. This game's full of ups and downs, and you got to take the ups with the downs, and thank God we had an up tonight, and it's a great win. I thank Matt so much for letting me be a part of these horses. He's got great horses, and we've got a great team, and Juan Polito's a great rider. It's a team effort, and we've got the greatest team in the world.
This has got to be one of the greatest fun names Where did you come up with holy guacamole?
Well, actually, my wife did. We bought the horse at the sale, the Texas sale, and I don't even remember his name, to be honest with you. But Bendy changed his name, thought it would be a fun name, and he's kind of one of those horses, man. Holy moly guacamole! You never know what you're going to get with him, but he's really coming into himself. He's just such a nice horse, such a blessing. I'm proud for the horse. I'm proud for our team. I'm proud for Cholitos. Of course we stand him, and it's just a good thing for the whole family and the whole team tonight.
Need a little chips and salsa with that one when it was all said and done for Holy Guacamole. Look at that, $405,000 to the winner for that 2-year-old race right there. Congratulations to all that was part of that big night there at the Texas Classic at Lone Star. Stay with us here on the Cowboy Channel. We've got more, including the Southeastern Rodeo Association and their champions from Lufkin, Texas over the weekend. We'll have that when we Glad you're with us here on Western Sports Roundup as we're continuing to come to you live from our Cowboy Channel studios here in Fort Worth, Texas. The Southeastern Rodeo Association had their finals over the weekend. It was Lufkin, Texas, and you're looking at it as they kicked it all off for the weekend to crown their champions on the 2025 year.
Yeah, this is the 12th anniversary of the Southeastern Rodeo Association finals, and London Key is the daughter of a bull rider and a jockey, and pretty good horsewoman herself. She stops the clock in a time of 16.60, winning the title, $1,170. We shared all of this on the Cowboy Channel Plus app over the weekend. Let's talk about the tie-down roping next. Devin Seville, left-hander. There aren't very many left-handed tie-down ropers in the country. He's one of them, $9.5, $1,100.
And not only left-handed the old school way, and then crosses under and flanks them and ties them right-handed. So you definitely don't see that as much anymore, but Devin got the win there for that 9 and 5, pocketing him a little over $1,100 for the win.
Let's go to the team roping next. Jeremy Johnson, Luke DeCour, a time of 5.5. They were way ahead of the rest of the field. Second was a 9.8, $2,238 as you take a look at Jeremy and Luke right there. And yeah, Jeremy's a little excited.
Well,
throw your hat, shout wahoo.
Might as well, guys. You just got the win. You might as well throw your hat. That's exactly what these guys did. Bree McNeil, the breakaway rope, and she's pretty excited about it as well. You see with a hand clap when it was all said and done. Look how fast this was. 2 and 3 in the ladies breakaway.
Now let's talk about the steer wrestling. This is A.D. Davis from Grand Cane, Louisiana, in a time of 4.5, $1,425. A.D., you're going to watch the technique there. He had to use a little bump with the big toe to get that steer over on his side. It worked.
And I don't think he actually thought he had all 4 legs out there because he kind of held that steer for just a moment. Good thing on his thought, just to make sure that the judge gets the flag dropped, and it worked out for him.
Travaris Zeno in the bull riding, 84 points, $1,400. He is the champion. So that is a look at it. You can find all of the video, of course, on the Cowboy Channel Plus app. Here's a look at all of the champions for 2025 from the Southeastern Rodeo Association.
And we take you to our Veterans Top 3 stories presented to you by Veterans Clean Treat Heel. Of course, Cole Patterson, our first world champion crowned of the 2025 season, wins his 3rd in a row the National Finals of steer roping, but his 4th overall world title, following right in his 4-time world champion dad Rocky's footsteps.
Louisville, Kentucky, the Great Lakes Circuit Finals Rodeo. Ethan Skoquist rode 2 out of 3, won the aggregate in the bull riding. Austin Toby, the champion of the barrel race, and we had a chance to share all of that with you on the Cowboy Channel Plus app. Keep Anita Ellis in your prayers. She bumped her head on the concrete in an accident over the weekend. Spent the weekend in ICU. We will keep you up to date. You can follow her husband, Brandon, on Facebook and get all the details.
Yeah, you definitely can. We certainly appreciate you guys joining us, and we invite you to stay tuned right here to the Cowboy Channel, because as soon as we wrap up here, it's the title fights, the NFR, and the breakaway roping, getting you ready for it. For Steve Kenyon, I'm Ty McClary. Have a great evening, everybody.